Hi guys, I think this World Cup has actually taken much of my time in the sense that I'm not making any videos, but I actually have to actually, it's kind of a warning because of not only because of what happened, but because of what has been happening in Black America in general. So there's this kid, he was 17, I think, he was gonna turn 18, Nola Wells, and he was having, or he went out to an island where the only way to come back home is with a private boat. He went with his white friends. Now you might wonder, why am I mentioning white friends? It's important to mention because obviously we are abroad, especially I'm talking about my community, but just on a general level. And it so happened that your child is going to have white friends, mixed friends, obviously. But this is going to be as a warning. Like my son, King David, has some white friends, but most of his friends are black. And that's not a coincidence. I do talk to King David. I do sit him down and tell him that, unfortunately, I can never trust him with only white friends. It's just not, like, it's something that I've learned before from many instances, from watching documentaries and all that. So it's something that I'm trying to say, that guys, we are here in Canada, obviously, even for those that are in the UK, but you need to know that your children, even though they can have white friends, you need to be careful when they are the only one in a group. Let me say going to, let me say, the lake or to a swimming pool. King David can swim, but even when he's going to the swimming pool, unfortunately, as it sounds, my question is always, who are you with? And the reason I'm asking that is because I want to know which friends he's with, right? And by the grace of God, I'm happy that King David has 95% black friends, more than white friends. He does have a few white friends, but not many, and he's not that close with them. That, so as I was saying, he's not that close to them that he can sleep over with any one of them. And especially, even if it was one white friend, I wouldn't even allow my son to actually sleep over with him. Because the thing is, you need to know that this is not kind of men in a racist way, but if your son is with other black friends and something happened to him, then they will be investigated. But if it's with white friends, then no investigation will take place. So it will be like, what happened? You know what I mean? Because something like this actually happened in South Africa. A young Sitole boy went to apparently swim with white boys, and he obviously drowned. And then another case in the divided states where a young woman, a mother of 5 children, who went with other friends, only white friends, and then she apparently jumped from the building. My goodness, guys, you guys need to be careful. I want you to actually follow this story and listen to it, because I know most of our people don't really listen to news. So I say, let me share so that you guys are aware. Don't trust your child with only white friends. Your child must not be the only child, the only black child amongst white children. Let it be that maybe there are two and all that.
Nola Wells went missing July the 4th, and his body was found yesterday, July the 6th. We are going to go through the timeline and the events before and after Nolan went missing. I'm going to play a video for you of the alleged argument between Nolan and his friends an hour before Nolan went missing. We're also going to go over 2 posts that Nolan's mother has put out. A post from Nolan's girlfriend's mother. A post from Matthew, who is a kid that was on the island, or potentially one of Nolan's friends. Then I'm going to show you what these 3 boys are doing now on social media, and what their parents, who are doctors, lawyers, and judges, are presently doing now that the world is watching them. For those of you who haven't heard the details of the story, let me give you a quick recap, and then we'll go into some details, all right? So Nolan Xavier Wells is an 18-year-old boy. He went missing July the 4th in Jackson, Mississippi. Highlight on the Mississippi. Nolan was last seen with his friends on Horn Island. They got to that island on a boat together. There was a search for Nolan after his friends claim they lost track of Nolan on the island. Some people say that Nolan went off with his girlfriend, and that is why his friends left him, because they assumed that he was with his girlfriend or a girl. This is all alleged for now. The three boys to the left of me claim that after they couldn't find Nolan, they decided to head back to the mainland in the same boat they came in on without Nolan. But guess what? Nolan's phone was on the boat. Now, which teenager do you know that is going to go off on an island somewhere on his own with some girl and leave his phone on the boat? That is evidence number one that shows that Nolan was probably on that boat on the way back. But let me just give you guys the facts and we'll talk about everyone's opinion after. Now that we have the timeline of things that are going on, let's go over some facts that has transpired before and after Nolan's passing. I am going to play a video for you guys of Horn Island. You're going to see boats and you're going to see the island. This is where the alleged party and missing took place, and the alleged argument between Nolan and these three boys right here beside me in this picture. Now, listen carefully to the background noise, and I'm going to slow it down. You'll hear there's some sort of argument, and you'll see we're going to put like an arrow. You're going to see Nolan and these boys in an argument on the island. Take a listen.
A girl named Vi Alice Ross posted that the white boys needed to be investigated because she went to school with them and it wasn't all that you guys think it is. Another girl, Caitlin, states that she was parked next to them until about 7:30 with no sign of Nolan to be found. But yet the report was he went missing earlier in the day, so why would they continue partying? It just doesn't make sense to me.
And before you draw your own conclusion, I just want to remind you of an incident that was similar to Nolan's, and that incident is Tamala Horford, a black woman who was hanging out with her 9 white friends and having a adult slumber party, ended up getting drunk. Maybe there was some sort of argument that was happening, and she ended up passing away and losing her life as well at the bottom of a balcony. And her friend said, oh, she just allegedly slipped. We all know what really happened to Tamala Horford. The same thing that's happened to Nola Wells. So there you have it, another tragic event. It seems like once a month, there is some black person that has a miscarriage of justice.
So after watching that, I think it's very clear where I'm coming from, because obviously it doesn't mean that all white people are bad, or it doesn't mean that all white kids are going to do that to your kids, because I believe that most young children now are not into white supremacists. But the problem is you will never be able to know which ones can be influenced by their parents to do certain things, or if something happened, how they're going to lose it and decide that, you know what, he's black and we are white, we're going to stand for each other. So you guys need to be careful who you actually trust your kids with. And honestly speaking, as I explained, that if something happened amongst other black children, at least you will know that the law is going to take its course, they're going to be investigated and so on, because remember, they want to investigate black kids, by the way. But if it's white kids, then you have a lost cause, because no one, just like in Nola Wells' case, you can see what the investigation is, how the investigation is happening, and the fact that the mother of one of the children, the white kids obviously, is actually believed or alleged to have been maybe even part of it. I have to say alleged, because otherwise you'll be in trouble, Yeah, so yeah guys, that's what I wanted to share today. So bye guys. Wasafa,
Kelly settles the